Hey everybody, Mumbles here with another New World video, and today we're gonna go over a dev blog from New World, and this one is a huge one. So I think it may end up being a couple videos just because I don't want to make like a 30 or 40-minute video for you guys. I'd rather break it up by sections so you guys can kind of pick out exactly what you guys want to listen to. So this dev blog is massive. This has about like 12 or 13 topics. It covers just about everything that the community's been wanting to know. So I'm kind of excited about this, and reading through this, it's a lot and a lot of good stuff. So I'm super excited for this. If you guys like this, don't forget to drop a like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell. Always appreciate the love, guys. Let's jump right into this massive dev blog. So to start off, they pretty much say thank you for the communication and feedback. They always want to continue to post about this and being transparent about this, and they greatly appreciate the feedback so that they can give us what we want as a community and so that they can provide a game that we like. Now, first off, we're going to talk about server transfers. So they did fix most of the issues that were restricting players to transfer. There has been a few issues with ghost contracts and trading posts not allowing some people to transfer. They are taking this on a case by case basis. So please put in a ticket if you're not able to transfer so that they can look into it case by case, because sometimes these mass kind of fixes don't necessarily work. They can go into a profile and kind of see whether there's a ghost contract there that they can delete themselves, or if it's an actual contract that for some reason they didn't get their loot back, and then they can give you the loot back, or at least the gold. They did say a recent change should have fixed about most of the situations about this. However, there are still a few people that aren't able to transfer, and they're not going to go ahead and close transfers until they completely fix this. As well as they are going to do a second round of transfers at the end of the year. That is just so that everyone can kind of make sure that they get on the right servers. Some servers will probably be overpopulated, some servers will be less populated, so that way those people can still transfer off. Next, we're going to talk about is region transfers. Now, they are gauging the interest in region transfers, let's say from NA East to NA West, or NA East to EU, that kind of stuff. Now, they are trying to gauge this because they don't know if it's really that necessary, and they don't want to do something that's not necessary. If, let's say, only 3 or 4% of the players want to do it, then at that point, it's not really a necessary thing to do because not many people are going to do it. And it's a lot of extra work for the devs. They want to get a solid understanding from us before they do this, because again, if many people don't want it, or most of the people don't want it, they're probably not going to do it because they do have more pressing issues. They have issues with combat, war, invasions, that kind of stuff that they really want to balance so that the game can be more enjoyable for the long run. They did say no matter what, this is going to be a thing down the line, as well as pretty much all the server transfers, server merges, all that stuff will always happen down the line. And then they can always open up old servers if they need to. If for some reason the game explodes again, they can go ahead and open those worlds up and then essentially give those people the worlds back. So there is a lot of stuff that they're looking, not just in the short run, but also the long run. In regard to server merges, these are going to happen soon. There is a lot of servers, if you pull up the list, that are low and very low in population. Now, server mergers were tested in the closed beta, and they are going to test it again with the PTR. And they do need to test this with scaling. They don't want to go ahead and merge two servers and end up deleting or losing half the characters. They don't want that. They're trying to minimize the risk of that. So they are testing this little by little. The PTR will be testing this on Monday, the 15th, to go ahead and test the server merging. So please, if you are part of the PTR, jump on Monday just to make sure that there is no issues. And please report them if there is so they can fix these for the future. There are a couple things they're going to go ahead and look at. Essentially, they're going to look at the population, the overall engagement, the faction levels, the level cap of the level kind of skew of all the players, so that there's a nice balance to all those two servers that are being merged. They don't want a predominantly Marauder company faction world to be merged with another predominantly Marauder faction server, because at that point you just have a bunch of green just owning the map when there should be Syndicate and Covenant all mixed in the world there. If you do watch my live streams, you know that we like to keep the server at a pretty decent level of everyone having a couple territories. Now, we do battle for them, and then we also kind of make it even so that the other ones can also own their territories as well. They did say tactically the worlds are merged in a world set, so you see like the new Nye, Mew, a bunch of other different world, kind of the 2 or 3 letters after the world server, if they match that as the necessary world. I know New is one of the bigger ones, that has like 7 or 8 9 servers on it now. So let's say two servers within that world set will be merged. They won't merge outside the world set unless they absolutely have to. They don't know the extent of this with the technology they're using, so they're trying to stay within the world set. They did say they can't guarantee an exact match for the like the world merges. However, they are going to look at the most possible things. Again, like I said, the population, the faction kind of percentage, the level max, all that kind of stuff. So they are going to do as much as they can to get a nice balanced server merge, but they can't guarantee it. So you will not lose any progress. The only thing that's going to happen is the victim of the two servers that are being merged will lose the territory control while the survivor will remain normal. You will keep all your gear, your money, your everything. The company will keep its treasury, all that kind of stuff. And you will be notified very, very early on. So keep that in mind that if you do get the notice, that you will get it plenty far in advance. So the war can't be declared issue. There was a few reports that people couldn't declare war even though they did way more than 10% of the work. They are working on an interface to exactly see how much your company has contributed and how much that you may need to get the ability to declare war. They're also looking into the issue that players aren't allowed to choose a tier of war camp. It just gives it to them and charges them. Most people are going for tier 3 at this point because they usually have the goal that they're in a company that is looking to declare war like this. So basically, they're just making sure that they have the option just in case some people don't want to try that much for an area. Let's say you're in end game. Most players are in end game right now and you're going for first light. You probably don't want to waste a tier 3 camp on an area that's probably not used that much. So incentivizing players to join a less dominant faction to help balance factions essentially is what this whole kind of system that they're going to put in is going to be for. More influence to the underdog factions. So if your faction has a less population than the other two factions, you will gain more influence in taking those areas, doing PvP quests, fighting at the fort, just doing PvP missions, all that kind of stuff. Faction switching will change from 120 days to 60 days. This will hopefully incentivize people to join the less dominant factions. This way that they can have a more balanced server and stuff like that. They are always actively looking for new ways to incentivize players, such as gameplay buffs, whether this is taxes, maybe more rewards when killing stuff, maybe higher Azov, money rewards, stuff like that, experience, anything like that. They're looking to incentivize players for picking the non-dominant faction to keep the servers as balanced as possible. Now, their stance on exploits, basically, they kind of explain what an exploit comes from. Basically, it's a bug in the game, whether it's gameplay or a style of mechanics, that later becomes an exploit that causes a high advantage in wars, outpost rush, invasions, gatherings, crafting, all that kind of stuff, duplicating. Basically, I just kind of explain that. And they pretty much say if you have to ask the question, is this allowed? Then it probably isn't. If you're able to sit there and add a chest and just repeatedly claim it and get the contents from it, and you have to ask, well, should I be doing this? You probably shouldn't be. So keep the game fair, keep it so that the people can have fun and that it's even and fair for everybody, because that kind of helps out with the longevity of the game and the people that just continue to play this game. Because if you're just using exploits all the time in wars and invasions and stuff like that, people are going to get annoyed and people are going to stop playing the game. We do want to keep the game healthy for all people and all types of players. So please think about this when you're trying to use these, because you're probably going to ruin it for somebody else. They are taking actions against people that use exploits repeatedly. They did say that they are going to suspend first, then ban if repeated. So all in all, for the first section of this dev update, it does seem like that they are being very considerate of a lot of different factors rather than just doing and finding out after if it works, which I do appreciate, because honestly, if they just did some of these things and broke the game even more, a lot of people would leave the game even more. And we're trying to make this game a healthy game. So I'm glad that they're doing this, and I'm glad that a lot of this looks really good and that they are being considerate of a lot of situations. I am very glad that they did announce that they are going to continue to be transparent, as well as being very communicative with the players, with the community, with everything, because it shows a lot from a company that does want this game to be really, really good, and that is why they are trying to communicate with us as much as possible. Now, again, this is going to be a multi-part because there is so much in this. There will be a video on luck alone. on there'll be a video on the quests and quest lines as well, because I did do a big update on that as well in this dev blog. So we are looking at doing a lot of this. This is a huge dev blog, and I'm glad that they're continuing to work on this game, because man, I think this game is going to be really good. I just think a lot of people need to see past the bugs, and once the bugs get fixed, I feel like a lot of those players are going to start coming back. So guys, once again, if you guys like this video, don't forget to drop a like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell. Thank you guys for joining. Have a great day. Goodbye. Deuces, y'all.